After careful consideration, you've chosen to shoot your next shot with shallow depth of field. But how do you go about it? That's what I'll be showing you in this video, using a DSLR or digital single light reflex camera. Why would I use a camera mainly used for photography to shoot my video? Well, to answer that, I have to give you a quick history lesson. Because massive light rigs didn't exist in the early days of cinema, filmmakers were dependent on mostly natural light to light their shots. To catch as much light as possible, they used high aperture cameras. By opening up the aperture, also known as the iris, you basically open up the camera's eye. This way, you're making sure that the maximum amount of light is able to pass through the lens. What this wide aperture also does is create a shallow depth of field. The digital camcorder made shooting video widely accessible and a lot cheaper. But it missed the option to create beautiful shallow depth of field shots due to its small sensor. Unlike the camcorder, DSLR cameras work with a relatively big sensor. A big sensor also means more light that can be captured. When the classic SLR cameras switched to digital, it suddenly became possible to also shoot video instead of just taking photos. From that moment on, perfectly captured shallow depth of field became accessible within the lower budget video market. Alright, now that we know the reason to use this DSLR camera, let's get to work. How do you get those cool shallow depth of field shots? There are 3 things you can do. The first thing you can do is adjust the aperture of your camera. You can do this easily by adjusting the settings. The lower the aperture, the shallower your depth of field will be. The higher you set your aperture, the deeper your depth of field will be. Another option is adjusting your camera's focal length. This means that if you zoom in, increasing the focal length, you'll get a shallower depth of field. The last thing you can do to create a shallower depth of field is to move closer to your subject. Let your camera focus automatically or use the focus ring. The closer you can get to your subject, the shallower your depth of field can be. So these are the basics. Depth of field and how to create it can seem like a bit of a technical choice at first, but you'll see that making conscious choices about the use of shallow or deep depth of field will really improve the look and feel of your videos. So try playing around with your settings and see what kind of amazing shots you can make. It's easy as 1, 2, 3.